In this world of mystery, there's one mystery that we have not yet explored to debunk, and that is deep sea creatures. Because you know, that is where things are unexplored and unexplained. And we're gonna take a look at some of those unexplainable clips. Monsters, trickery, real things? I don't know. We're gonna find out.
We got the sunken debunking.
If there's anywhere on Earth that these cryptids are going to exist, it's going to be in the ocean. There's a lot of real scientific reasons that would support that. The moment you go under the ocean, we are no longer dealing with the same rules as creatures above land. The creatures can grow so big, humongous. The largest animal on the planet lives in the ocean.
And has ever lived on the planet, bigger than any dinosaur. We need to start with the most famous sea creature of all of them, the Loch Ness Monster.
Stories of a monster in the Great Lake of Scotland started actually like 1,500 years ago. And so when this guy took a photo in 1934, it started a craze. And it looks like a friggin' long-necked dinosaur, right?
It's that perfect, like blurry, grainy, leaves it up to your imagination silhouette. I've always thought the waves looked really big in this photo. Like I'm actually looking at something this big sticking out of the water.
Interesting. Of course, it hit the newspapers. Everyone's freaking out about the Loch Ness Monster. This is still kind of cropped in. The original photo.
Wait, there's the original photo?
This is really what gives you a sense of scale.
Wow.
Those weren't big waves, they were ripples.
It's like that would have to be a photo of like the middle of the Atlantic Ocean for the scale to check out.
It's like a little thing. It's like maybe a couple feet long, right? But what is it?
It's probably just a weird floating log with a branch on it or something like that. Or like a goose.
The original 1934 photo wasn't just a piece of driftwood in the water. It was actually an elaborate hoax.
Oh, really?
Now this is a recreation, and I just find it kind of amusing.
It's perfect.
They literally just took a toy submarine and they just made up this whole thing out of like wood and putty and just like put it out into the water, took some photos, sent it to the mail, and started a craze. It worked. This is very, very already well accepted as a hoax, not real. We are here to actually debunk some stuff that you might not have seen, such as actual footage of the Loch Ness Monster jumping out of the water.
Oh.
Back of him. That's handwriting. Oh my god!
Wow, okay, that's straight up like an Elasmosaurus.
That's a great little VFX comp.
You think it's VFX?
I think it's VFX.
Because if it's not VFX, then dinosaurs are real still.
The motion is very clearly a replication of whale motion. The way it breaches and turns and splashes is exactly how you would animate something if you were an artist, referencing the motion of one creature to apply it to another creatively.
I went ahead and actually tried to stabilize this, and that actually ended up taking a lot of effort. This was not an easy shot to stabilize.
I still stand by VFX. It looks like animation. It's really well done, actually.
So I dove deeper and I checked out the YouTube channel that it was uploaded to. I was like, wait a minute, is this just viral marketing for the water horse? That's exactly it. It was just an elaborate marketing scheme to try to create a viral video of a cryptid under the water for this movie.
Wow.
I think it's pretty well done as far as visual
well
effects shots go, but I think it's very safe to say that this is obviously an effect.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform designed for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Start a completely personalized website with the new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique website from the ground up, tailored to your brand or business and optimized for every device. And with the new SEO tools, you can easily launch your website and get discovered fast, and you can show up on every search and grow the way you want. Make checkout seamless for your customers with simple and powerful tools. You can accept credit cards, PayPal, Apple Pay, and in some countries where available, you can do the whole buy now, pay later thing with Afterpay and ClearPay. Grow credibility and engage visitors using an unrivaled suite of visual design effects, ready to go on any Squarespace website. You can also connect all your social, multimedia accounts, anything you want to this website. Boom, extending your website's footprint. If you're in need for a website, head on over to squarespace.com/corridorcrew for 10% off your first purchase of either a website or a domain. It's pretty great. If you want a website, check it out. You think you have to go all the way to Scotland to find these creatures? Well, it turns out they're actually living in our own backyard. Have you heard of Champ?
What is Champ?
The lake is called Lake Champlain. There are reports of this huge creature in the lake over time, and a long time ago. This is a story that started with this photo. It's called the Manzi photograph.
What is that?
And this was taken in 1977.
It looks like the Loch Ness photograph, but it actually looks bigger and not like a little toy.
And there's like some specularity on it that's kind of confused me, so it's obviously something that's relatively shiny.
I think the photo's a good photo, and it doesn't seem to be part of a hoax at all. A lot of people wanted to debunk that. Everyone's made tons of recreations. Floating wood, oh yeah. But
Pretty good model there though.
it's a pretty good model showing what it would look like.
Yeah.
Like even still, you look at that, that's like the most awkward looking log.
Yeah, trees don't really do that with the roots.
And also, the water was only 14 feet deep. You know, like a creature couldn't fit in 14-foot deep water. 14 feet is actually very deep. And I'm sorry, if something's sticking out of the water like that, look at this, elasmosaur. They found this in Australia recently, and it's like a full skeleton. You wanna see how big one of these things was? Not that big.
Yeah, not that big.
14 foot, you wanna see what a creature in 14-foot deep water is actually?
Yes.
I found a model of this dinosaur, the elasmosaur, that everyone is basing their sea creatures off of, and said, all right, let's just see if this would fit the mark for that spot.
Oh yeah, look at that. There's plenty of space.
Plenty.
That's a really long neck.
Look at that neck!
It's totally plausible from like a measurement standpoint, not necessarily from an evolutionary standpoint. From a cryptozoology standpoint, it's completely plausible.
Whoa.
Jeez. Is that an orca?
Is that a killer whale? That looks like an orca.
It almost looks like something's composited onto the lake there.
But whatever's making the waves is real. Like that, those are real waves, right?
That's in Lake Champlain?
Allegedly.
I don't think that's Lake Champlain. Before going any further into this video, this actually looks like a video that I've brought to you guys. Where somebody be like, what is this? And people couldn't figure it out.
The heck?
Oh,
What the heck?
it's kind of similar. That's a little different though.
There, what was the stuff in the background? There's like synchronized. What in the world?
Is it a giant squid with tentacles reaching out, retracting them back into the ocean?
I know what it is. I'm gonna let you enjoy this though, Wren.
Do you really know?
Yeah.
Now pull up the full video. Perfect.
Oh. Oh my God, look at this. Is that a sturgeon?
Those are manatees.
Manatees.
Yep. When manatees get spooked, they do a response where they take their tail and they smack it on the surface. They swim away to make a lot of noise and bubbles. And that's what you're seeing.
He spooked one manatee, and then all of the other manatees in the area just freak the hell out and start just splashing their tails and fins on the water.
Now this makes sense when we were watching the other clip. You said, I don't think that's Lake Champlain.
You know what? That does look like a manatee. That looks just like the video that you just showed.
You know, is this actually Lake Champlain? I don't know. Obviously, there's no manatees up in Canada.
The thing is, this is on a repost channel. This is the original source.
What's the easiest thing to fake about this video?
The location.
The title.
Yeah,
The
the
title.
title. Gentlemen, have you heard of the Bloop?
Bless you.
So this was recorded in 1997 when they're doing underwater research with microphones down deep underwater, 3,000 kilometers away. So basically what you're seeing here is time is moving forward left to right, and you get frequency up to down, and the color is the intensity. So at one moment in time there, all those frequencies lit up really loudly, and it got quiet, and you have another little one, and it's quiet from there.
Could we even hear this? We could hear that, right?
We can hear it. We can feel this more than we can hear it. We can hear the top end. Would you guys like to hear it?
Oh.
Okay, so what I'm gonna play has been sped up so that it raises the hertz, the frequency, a little bit to more of an audible range. That was it. Bloop.
Yeah, that's just an air bubble.
Except it's so loud that you heard it from two microphones from 3,000 kilometers apart.
Oh, is this just the sound of the Ocean Gate submersible imploding?
It's too loud to be a blue whale. The loudness of this exceeds what any animal could create, unless deep down in the dark, there's some larger creature.
And this isn't like an explosion or something, is it?
0 to 50 hertz is effectively like sub bass. That is the smooth, soft, bassy vibrations.
It's not like a volcano erupting.
It's not like a volcano, you're right. Exactly. It's very sharp too and short.
It almost feels like a bass drum getting tapped. It's like,
Dum, which is what makes it so mysterious. What bass drum underwater in the ocean is loud enough to go boom, 3,000 kilometers away? So they captured more bloops. And they did this again in 2005, and they figured out where it's coming from. It's coming from Antarctica. And it's the sound of the ice shells sheathing off of Antarctica.
Really?
A single crack. And that's what causes that single loud bass drum. Is like a whole ice shelf snapping off of Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
That's freaky.
So what we're hearing isn't the ice falling into the ocean, it's literally the ice itself snapping.
You know when you put your water into a cup full of ice and hear the ice cracking?
Yeah.
It's like that, but like the size of, you know, a continental
Okay.
shelf of ice. Turns out it's not some crazy giant underwater creature that can emit powerful blasts, but the ice shelf's cracking.
That's
and ice
funny
quakes.
because it still spawned this whole thing of this fictional creature called the Bloop being the world's supposedly largest sea creature. It's like there's so much fan fiction around it.
One last thing, I want you guys to tell me, is this real or fake?
That's like a actual Pokemon.
Is this VFX?
Yeah, it looks real to me. I see little particles in the water that float over the top of it. It's going a little bit slower than the particles closer to the camera, so that works out. What it is, I couldn't possibly tell you. Maybe it's a piece of trash.
I'm gonna warn you, this video has a sad ending.
It's moving? Oh, what the
wow.
heck?
Oh, that's just the light reflecting. It's not lights, but that's cool. That's just like a crazy squid. It looks like a toy.
It looked like it ripped up there at the end.
First off, it shapeshifts from this weird symmetrical shape and then suddenly becomes like a jellyfish, effectively. It's like a jellyfish with RGB lights, and someone in the submarine is like changing the colors, putting it on party mode.
It looks like they blasted it with a jet of water or something, and that's why it moves all crazy there, and it looked like it actually kind of got ripped apart.
Yeah, it looks like it blew up.
This is a jellyfish.
Wait, this is real?
Yeah, this is real. This
That's
is not
a
visual
real-
effects. This is a real jellyfish. It's a comb jelly.
But it's not, is that actually emitting RGB light, or is that reflecting?
It's actually,
It's actually emitting
light.
that light? Holy
There's a jellyfish
crap.
that actually emits rainbow light like that. And then unfortunately it swims a little too close to the ROV here, and one of their water jets to control it hits it and tears it up and it flies off into the ocean. It probably changed modes from like eating mode to like defense mode right there when like it came closer to the submersible.
It's got the Razer LEDs on.
The jellyfish for gamers, by gamers.
Yeah, it's like when people like make aliens in movies, they gotta look at jellyfish more. I think there's like a pretty clear sign of like what kind of craziness you should expect from like creatures on other planets. So I don't feel like we really found any paranormal sea creatures that we couldn't explain. At the end of the day, it was just really interesting footage of animals.
The huge challenge with this is the creatures in the sea are already so crazy that even when you're just looking at normal footage, you're like, I can't conceive of what this would ever be.
All the creatures at the bottom of the ocean look paranormal, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are. We want to do more of these debunking videos, so if you find something that is just so unexplainable that you want us to take a look at, send it to debunk@corridordigital.com.
Consider subscribing, and the best way to support us is by subscribing on corridordigital.com. Come hang out with us while we podcast. And as always, stay skeptical. Don't believe everything you see on the internet. Back it up with sources. Do your research. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.